Cycles, man. It's all about cycles. This is what a Garland game could actually answer. Garland as a character. What makes him who he is, and what was it that drove him insane? But most importantly of all, we need to find out just what it is that made Garland turn. What did Garland see in the shrine? What did he hear? What corrupted him? Was it simply a sad turn of fate for Garland to be doomed to an eternity of battle? Something that, while he thrived on it, became such a bore that he wished for defeat? Did he see his own sad fate, doomed to repeat it because it was the only way for the world, his kingdom, and Sarah, if he actually had grown to love her through the course of his service to the crown, to recover from the crystal's decay?
Well, I sure hope somebody picks up that phone, because I f***ing called it!
So, yeah, this happened. I'm honestly a bit shocked to actually see that something like this seems to be happening, but here we are, I guess.
Pardon?
Memes aside, this is honestly a really cool turn of events. Not only does it give Square a chance to expand on past plots, but it gives us more depth to the characters that, frankly, we don't have much to work with. But that's not entirely why we're here. You see, the recent Tokyo Game Show 2021 trailer actually brought a lot of new information to the table about Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. My god, is that a light novel title? I mean, not only is Stranger of Paradise releasing March 18th, but 2022 is also the 35th anniversary of the Final Fantasy series as a whole. We still have Final Fantasy XVI to come out, and the rumors are circulating of a Final Fantasy IX remake coming out. I mean, we are already getting the cartoon series, so why not? Plus, there are rumors of a Final Fantasy Tactics remaster, and hopefully, Pixel Remaster Collection comes to home consoles, because if that happens, not only can more people play the original 6 games in the franchise, but games 1 through 10, 12, 14, 15, and 16 would be available for home console players. The only exception's the remasters of 13 trilogy, but no one wants that, right?
To the radio station!
Torches! Get your torches! Pitchforks! Can't be an angry mob without pitchforks!
Cotton candy! Get your cotton candy! Can't throw right that cotton candy!
Look, my personal feelings on a majority of 13 aside, the 35th anniversary for Final Fantasy is going to indeed be something else entirely. Whether that something is good or not, well...
You serious?
Here's hoping. Right, so what exactly did the Tokyo Game Show trailer reveal other than a second playable demo with new features and jobs to obtain? Quite a bit more than you might think, actually. First of all, we have a new party member named Neon. She seems a bit younger than Ash, Jed, and Jack, but that's not all. We also have a second new party member revealed? Yes, a mysterious woman who appears a bit older than Neon. She hasn't had a name revealed just yet, but I'm betting we're still going to be sticking to the 4 to 5 character naming scheme. But those are small potatoes, my friend, to the truly big reveals the trailer and the demo afforded us. Oh hey look, Big Ace here. Do we actually get to fight him this time around, or just his pirate crew again like in the original game? Either way, nice to see more locations and characters. And can we just talk briefly about the Referent Wetlands a bit? It has switches to control the weather, the music's a remix of the Sunlit Waterscape from 13, which I've seen a lot of people interpret as 13's chaos equals the original FF1 chaos, and just... no. Why would you think that? Chaos, just like the crystals, warriors of light, summons, and chocobos and moogles, are elements spread across the Final Fantasy universe. Sure, recent entries have heavily hinted that the multiple worlds are indeed connected, but it's not a every person named Chaos is the same Chaos type of thing. But anyway, cycles. Ever repeating with no known reason or memory as to the events surrounding them. But the story of the crystals and the warriors who shall bring hope to the world remains. But why is the King of Cornelia so willing to let only 3 warriors go when the prophecy says there are specifically 4? And 4 crystals. I'm assuming it's a no other choice scenario? Or this king is also like the one in the Memory of Heroes novel and not quite as nice as we're made to think he is. Other than confirmation that we are indeed getting another version of the Final Fantasy I time cycle, the trailer still isn't done giving us info.
I never asked your name.
Garland. My name's Jack Garland.
Yes, Jack is actually Garland, which those of us fans that were really paying attention had already kind of called. Way back when we had the initial key art revealed in June, if you knew what you were looking for, Jack's identity was already laid out for us. All we had to do was mirror the image. Okay, so maybe that isn't enough for you to have caught on, but producer Fujiwara knew that overseas fans were already more savvy when it came to Jack and Garland's true connection. A recent Famitsu interview, which I will link down in the description below, with Nomura even tells us as much. Now, be aware that this is roughly translated, so a few statements are kind of in broken English, but it should get the point across well enough. It was shocking for Jack to call himself Jack Garland, but as the woman he has, Princess Sarah. It's interesting whether it's just like the original or if it's just rescuing her. By the way, the original Princess Sarah only appeared a little in the early stages, but the return of Princess Sarah in this work is more. Is it likely? Nomura, that's right. Originally I was planning to hide that Jack was a Garland, but right after the first appearance, producer Fujiwara consulted and said, overseas Jack is already known as a Garland. So, on the contrary, I would like to promote it by pushing it to be Garland. Therefore, I decided to change the direction from the strategy of who is Jack to why did Jack become Chaos? The scene where Garland is holding a woman is the opening of the main story, and since it's also the latter half of the story, I cannot answer the details, but Princess Sarah's return is a little more than the first generation in this work. Remember what I kept saying? Well, here we are. The beginning is the end is the beginning. We also got 2 pieces of promo art from Tokyo Game Show. One is just an interesting piece. But the other, well, I'll let you judge. Notice anything in particular? Like the colors surrounding the characters? So if Jack definitely becomes Chaos, do our 4 party members, including the mysterious dark-haired lady from Tiamat's Air Fortress, become the 4 fiends? If we follow this thread, Jack becomes Chaos, obviously. Ash seems to become Lich. Jed becomes Kraken. Neon becomes Marlith, though originally I thought that Neon would become Tiamat, as she knew her name, but her color here represents fire. And our mystery woman, the one held at Tiamat's Air Fortress, seems to be Tiamat. The ending narrative states that the 4 fiends were created 2,000 years ago when Garland's hatred merged with the 4 elements of the world. The purpose of the fiends would be to send Garland 2,000 years into the past, whenever he would be killed by the Warriors of Light. According to one of the Lufanians turned into a bat in the Chaos Shrine, once Garland is sent to the past, his fiends would send the power they drew from the 4 elements back to their master. Once he has absorbed enough power, Garland would then send the fiends, whom he has created in the past, to the future where they drain from the 4 elements in the first place, thus creating a time loop in which he can live forever. So this would actually almost seem to coincide with this scene from Neon's introduction.
And not
not chaos. Guess I was right.
Huh. Feels like there's a story behind that.
My allies and I set out to rid the land of chaos. But the journey took its toll. One by one, we fell, until only I remained. It was then that I finally realized the truth. Chaos isn't a man, or a monster. Chaos is just a fairy tale. The darkness, the beasts, this despair that eats away at people's hearts. It's easy to blame a single thing for all of that. It gives people hope to think the world can be saved with a single heroic deed, even if it's never that simple. So I decided to become a sacrifice. I offered myself to the darkness and prayed to become chaos, hoping some band of heroes would defeat me, and thus bring an end to this empty dream.
In order to give the people, no, really the entire timeline hope, chaos must exist in order for heroes to rise in a time of need and give people hope and the will to live. So will our final fight in the game, or a secret boss perhaps, be the Warrior of Light and or his party? It's definitely something to think about. Also, can we just appreciate this last shot? It's a very nice twist on the classic Final Fantasy I opening. The gameplay of Stranger of Paradise is what has Minnie hooked, and I'm glad they decided to give us another demo to try our hand at. I'll be very excited to see what the story brings us, even though I still don't have the elusive PlayStation 5 that's said to exist. It's nice of Square to release the game for those of us still relying on last-gen consoles. So if you, like me, are interested in where the story of this game could take us, then keep an eye out on March 18th for the release of Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. My god, that still sounds like the title of a light novel. I will definitely keep you updated on any interesting story beats the game has, as I can play them. If you liked this video, feel free to like and subscribe. I'm glad so many people recently have discovered my channel and decided to subscribe. I'm not sure why you're here, but welcome! If you guys would like to see me cover anything else Final Fantasy related, then please leave a comment down below telling me what you'd like to see me cover. And I will see you in our next video, hopefully very soon, where we're covering some interesting games for Alex Game Corner. Remember, the world is square.